Good morning, good morning, good morning. And what a lovely day it is. Let's rise and shine. All right. Today I'm going to continue on with working on some of this connection between YT and Blender. I want to take a moment though just to mention that what I want to do is do this a little bit differently than I think I had been in the past. In the past, I'd been viewing this as an add-on that would then do a bunch of importing. I think I want to focus on it more as a set of scripts, and so I'm going to try that. Let me go over where I'm at with this, and then we will try it out. So, reminder that here, got my script. This is designed to be run inside Blender. Import data bpy, import bpy. Data bpy is the library that Brady Johnston on GitHub has created that does a really nice job of importing or of adding attributes to different objects. And then we've got loading our sample data set. We've got a little bit of left edge, right edge manipulation here for getting a hold of it so that we can load our grid hierarchy in. Create a grid hierarchy object if it doesn't already exist. And then we will store our named attribute here. Grid width, grid level, it's got the position already, which is the grid centers. And then we also create a slice. So I am going to now focus on modifying this a little bit to utilize traitlets, because I think that's how we're best going to be able to manage things like manipulating user interfaces and so on. Let's call this YT Manager. It's really outgrowing. It's single script stuff. This repository is getting to be kind of a mess. Oh, look at that. It's got a whole bunch of stuff that it wants to load in. I'm not going to do that. Instead, we are going to, let's see, we're going to say class dataset handler traitlets.hasTraits. Okay. So now what this is going to have, and I will pass here, we'll have a grid hierarchy handler traitlets.hasTraits. This one's probably not, you know what, we'll back up on this, but we will say bpy object. There we go. Isn't that nice? That actually did do it right. So now we'll say dataset equals traitlets.instance dataset handler. All right, that one we will not provide a default to. So we will set this up to have a nice default object. Self.bpy, we will create our object first. So that's where I want to handle all of this management of it. We want to have this all using traitlets to manage whether things change or not. This one is going to observe the data set. We'll stub that out for now. The default bpy object. So if it doesn't already exist, it's going to create one. And this is actually going to be data bpy create Bob. We'll give it an empty set of attributes. So that should create our object. We will say okay. I don't think that's the exact right thing. So we'll say, is that right? Static output? No. It's actually just under YT, right? Isn't it? No, I guess it is. Okay, YT loaders dataset. The handle. It's a mirage. Batage. So today I'm listening to Hectic City from the Kleptones. This is a podcast that they do with, well, they used to, I don't know if they still do. I haven't seen it in a while. They've been doing other sets. And this is an old live set from them. So whenever the data set changes, we will, and I think this will happen at instantiation. Yep, this looks right. Let's see if that'll do it. Okay, so now we have traitlets and all of that. So let's see this YT loaders data set. All right. So let's go back here. Let's open up our YT manager, execute. Okay. Yeah. All right. If okay, so that should give us that. That should register. Create that. Okay, so let's reload. This should create it. Let's see what it says. No module named grid hierarchy handler. What? How do I do a forward declaration? Traitlets instance class type T. Okay. Construct an instance trait. Well, I guess I can just try YT manager dot. Let's see what that does. Specify the name of it. Okay. No module named YT manager. You know what? Let's just call it an instance for now. I will deal with that when we get to the point of being able to manage it. So these upward-downward relationships can be annoying. Okay, you know what? Any. Okay. Did we get a grid hierarchy? bpi object. So let's see. Did we get one? No. Let's see. Sometimes it dumps the. No, I didn't get an error either. Dataset handler. Oh, right, of course. I'm not actually creating that. So um, let's create my grid hierarchy handler. I'm probably going to flatten this, but let's take a look. Yeah, let me just flatten it right now. We'll just assume that the dataset handler includes the grid hierarchy handler. That's not the best, but it's not so bad. So when the dataset changes, it'll call that. All right, yeah, that should do it. Vertices of Blender object has no setter. Oh yeah, so all right, let's take a look at. Oh, I think it's dot. This creates the default. So now what we want to do is here. This is self.bpyObject dot new from PyData. Yeah. So that wipes everything that currently exists. Let's delete that. Okay. So now my grid hierarchy. Let's delete my cube. Is it about my cube? New. Yeah, all right. So we've got all that stuff. Great. All right. We probably want to allow multiple slices, but it's not immediately clear to me if we really want multiple X or if we just want one X, Y, and Z. So let's do X slice. Come on. All right, so now we've got our points there. So let's try something. Oh, I can't access that from in here. All right, so now we need to create a library of grid items. So let's go ahead and I'm going to load up my previous one. Oh, hey, check this out. I made this last night following a tutorial. I thought it was pretty cool. Followed a tutorial. Oh, what? No fire. There's supposed to be fire on it. Let's see if this will look like anything. No. Well, that's great. I don't know why. All of a sudden it... Anyway, last night I worked on something that was supposed to be but I guess it was a fireball, but looks like somehow when I saved it, there was some piece of state that I did not save. Um, maybe baking that data? I don't know, but there should be fire up there. Anyhow, that's irrelevant anyway. That wasn't what I wanted to show, or what I wanted to work on. But now I can't seem to cancel my render. So once my render is done, I will load up the thing I did with the grids yesterday. Oh, it's baking and rendering, that's why. Let me, okay, maybe that'll do it. Let's see if that shows anything. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I messed around with like different layers of it. So it's like green and red and all that, or purple. All right, let's go back to grids and slices. Let's copy down this tree. I don't know that I showed this part, but I was able to eventually get the I was able to get it so that there was like a height field and everything from the planar mesh. I'm not going to copy all of that though. I used cycles displacement nodes there. Okay. All right. So for the grids, let's copy that down. Let's skip the level norm. Let's copy that as a script. I wonder how is that different than the node tree, copying it as a node tree script. Oh, it's because one's the selected nodes and the other's everything. All right, so let's go ahead and define this. Call this wireframe. Let's take a look at this one. Yeah. So one reason that I am changing my thinking on how these scripts get run is that it turns out that it's hard to get the import order right for add-ons so that you can use other add-ons. And that's where I was running into issues. So, ns.tree, what did I just do? Did I? That was odd. I think I accidentally quit. I don't even know which buttons I pushed. Okay. Hierarchy wireframe. Yeah, while it loads back up. Takes an input geometry. That's going to be ns.geometry. No, that actually I think is correct. Okay. gs.attribute statistic, gs.map range. now that we've got all that, curve circle 1, is that just line too long? Is that the problem? Yeah. All right, so now let's go back and rename these different things. Grid hierarchy wireframe. Level stats. Level val map. Everything is gonna burn. We'll all take turns. So now we're just refactoring all this stuff so that it looks nice and all that. Okay. So let's instance on points. Let's rename this one to actually mesh to curve 1. This is actually my favorite part of this. I know you can't hear it, but this podcast where they map from, or he moves slowly into this mashup with One Vision by Queen. All right. Mesh to curve, curve to instance, instance on points. Okay, so then this is our individual. Yeah, okay. We'll call this cube wireframe. Call this, nope, grid instances. Grid width attribute. Let's just change this to we can just call that. Okay. Scale instances, named attribute 2, grid width attribute. I'm going to put that up here. This material we'll probably want to change later on. Alright, so I think that's good. So now let's go new, general, don't save. We'll come back to the material in just a minute. Cannot import, huh. Import node tree script. as an S. Import node tree script.api.dynamic.geometry as GS. Let's see. So why is this not working? Is it inside the building? Yeah, I think it must be. It's inside the creation. Cannot import name geometry node tree or geometry node group. Well, I guess I can go ahead and rebuild that. I haven't run any of my node tree scripts in a while. So let's see. Let's take a look at this scripts add-ons. Maybe I need to rebuild it here. So I guess I'll try that. So let's just clone it. Okay, let's rebuild here. Oh, I guess I don't need to rebuild it. So let's reinstall it. Getting hung up on this. I guess I'll leave the Git file there. Alright, install from disk. Now it's entirely likely this will simply not work. So let's give it a shot though. Yeah, shader node group can't be imported. That strikes me as possibly related to some change in the internal Blender API that it's not caught up to date on. So I guess let's see, it was geometry node group. import geometry node group. Why don't I try importing dynamic geometry and seeing what is accessible in there. Because maybe the issue is in the way that I'm doing it, because I note that it's always just doing ns.tree. If I do that, does it work? Nope. Alright, so geometry node group. What type of trees do I have here? Got a tree there. And that's, I think, what I'm seeing here. So how does the dynamic API get managed? Register node types geometry. So let's take a look at node registrar. So my guess here now is that geometry node group is somehow changed in name or something. So that's likely the issue. So let's see, where does it actually get these all from? Register node type. Alright, so it looks like bpy types node, maybe that changed. So, where all do we get those? Get bpy subclasses. That's in util. Oh, you know what? I bet there's like a regex change or something. Okay, so let's take a look at bpy types. Should be a really long list. No. Yeah, looks like it is. So, what's the regex that it uses? Okay, that's in utilities. So, bpy types.node. I think, let's see, does this have subclasses associated with it? be able to see the classes. Does this have subclasses? Yeah, alright. Oh no. Okay, so it is just simply not finding the group. Okay, so for in bpi in dir bpi.types if group, this is getting to be long. If group in that, print it. There's shader node group, geometry node group. That's in there. All right, so why is it not working? Is it just not a subclass anymore? Is subclass bpi.types.node bpi? That's the wrong order, isn't it? bpi.types.geometry node group. True. Alright, I think... Alright, finally fixed it. Okay, so... So it's a subclass. Which of these is failing? Let's see if this is a registered node type. So why is it not registering? Alright, we will spend just a little bit more on this and then I gotta go. See if I can get some printouts here. If group in string node, print node type string node type. Alright, so this should do it, but I think I might need to... Let's not save. We will run this. Break on through to the other side. Alright, so here we go. Geometry node group right there. Okay, still didn't work. This time, geometry node group is right there. Alright, so it's not importing it. Let's take a look here. So it is It is important geometry node group. All right. So why is that not? I bet that's the problem right there. No, it did register. Oh, did it? No, it did not. Unable to register. Can I use F strings? Yeah, probably. All right, so we were unable to register all of these. Unable to register most of them. No. Geometry node group. All right. So I wonder why. This looks like a ton of them. So geometry node group is unable to be registered, except exe as e. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so let's see what the actual error is. Not a shader or geometry node tree. Actually, this looks like a much broader problem, so. It looks like they're all compositor node trees. Wonder why that is. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong error. Let me ditch these prints so that I can get a clear in str of node type. Able to register that. Alright, so it was able to register geometry node group. This is befuddling. So it looks to me like what I was thinking was an error is in fact not. But So here's node registrar. So register node types, add math functions, clean up, and now it it calls that on the node registrar. But now, where is it defining the all or whatever? I don't see any set attributes. It calls that, okay, so here we go. Node socket class creates an enum, make add math functions, so here it's doing so it creates that. So that's where it's modifying the global. So this should output every single one. Okay, so let me pipe that in. Okay, so now let me read my log. Yeah, all right. So somehow register node type okay. All right, so somehow it's getting lost right there. Boom, right there. Okay, so the node info object type equals node type blrna.name. If string node type ends with node group, and else the func name equals lower snake case node type dot str. Okay, now let's try this. See if I can import it. No. Alright, let's try one last thing. If group in go to another meeting, but I see exactly what I think I need to do. I think what I need to do is take, and I'll submit a pull request for this, have some sort of a special case on the BLRNA name, because the BLRNA name for geometry node group and the other node groups seems to have changed. So thank you for joining me. Didn't quite get where I wanted to, but that's how development goes sometimes. See you later.